Welcome, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful Friday. Today we will be learning about the Italian Renaissance, the second part. Of course, today, as promised, we will talk about the four Ninja Turtles and some other writers from the Italian Renaissance. Thank you for following along today, and hopefully you learn a lot. Right now, go through the past and present questions as I pause and wait for the next part. Go ahead and pause here and say your prayer. The first person we are going to be talking about today is Donatello. Donatello was an early sculptor. He was known for his bias reliefs, which we will see on the next slide, and he also performed a multitude of sculptures in the Duomo in Florence. This is a very famous cathedral with a very beautiful brick dome that was built early in the Renaissance. His two most famous sculptures were David, made in bronze, and the Gatta which is going to be an equestrian or horse statue, which was very famous in the Roman times. I'm going to pause here for you to finish these notes. This slide has some of the examples of Donatello's work. On the far left, we have the David, which is in bronze. We'll take a closer look at this next week. The Gattamelata is in the right center, which is the equestrian statue, very famous in the Roman times. The bias relief is in the top right-hand corner. That is going to be the example of kind of a picture that is 3D coming out of a wall. And in the very bottom corner is going to be a picture of the repentant Magdalene. Of course, as another example showing that there's a lot of church focus here during this time. The next slide is about Leonardo da Vinci, one of the most famous Renaissance artists and thinkers of this time. He was called a Renaissance man because he epitomized the Renaissance humanist ideal. He studied not just art, not just architecture, not just sculpting, but anatomy and inventions and physics and all sorts of things to expand the world. One of the things he's going to do is to better understand the anatomy of the body. He is going to dissect corpses and then use that to help his paintings. He's also going to have many sketches of inventions and buildings. The flying machine and the tank are some early examples of his work. His three most famous paintings, of course, the Mona Lisa, found in the Louvre, the Last Supper, and the Vitruvian Man. Go ahead and pause here to finish your notes. Here we have a picture of the Last Supper in the upper left-hand corner. It was painted above a chapel wall in Florence. Then you also have below that the Vitruvian Man, showing the perfect anatomy of an individual. And of course the beautiful Mona Lisa with her hint of a smile that has captured audiences for centuries. Here we have some statues, or some examples of the sketches that he had. The top left-hand corner, you can see the sketches of anatomy. We have different muscles and bones. On the top right, you see a flying machine that he designed. And one of his first works on the bottom is the picture of the Annunciation with Gabriel coming to Mary to announce that she might be pregnant with Jesus. Also showing he did some religious work as well. Our third Renaissance artist, very famous, is Michelangelo. Michelangelo was one of the most well-known and revered sculptors and artists in history. He mainly worked for the Catholic Church, though he did some work for the Medici in Florence as well. Some of his most famous sculptures are David in marble and the Pieta. The art, he is known for doing the Sistine Chapel, the very front of it, which is the creation of Adam, as well as the ceiling. He also did some architecture, the St. Peter's Basilica Dome and Capitoline Hill, which we will see in a little bit. Go ahead and pause here to finish the notes on this page. Here we have some examples of his art and his sculpting. On the very left-hand upper side, we have the creation of Adam on the very front of the Sistine Chapel. I had the opportunity to see this. It is beautiful and very, very large, almost life-size drawings of people. The very bottom left-hand side is the creation of Adam. Here is one of the most famous parts of the ceiling that he painted, and contrary to popular belief, we believe that he actually painted standing up, not painted laying down. It would have been very difficult to paint laying down. Also, he had the middle Pieta, which is the statue of Mary holding Jesus, and then on the very far right we have the statue of David, which we will do a little more discussion on later. These examples here are the examples of the left-hand side Capitoline Hill. These steps are very, very slanted and very long to make it easier to get up to the very top of this Capitoline Hill. It was a very awkward hill before Michelangelo designed it and reinvented it. Today it's a very beautiful example of the Renaissance period. The second one, the bottom and to the right, is the dome of St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. This is one of the largest domes in the world, quite a feat to create, and is today the most well-known part of St. Peter's Basilica. The last of the four Renaissance artists is Raphael. He was another famous artist and architect, mainly worked for the Catholic Church, deeply religious. And some of the art that he accomplished was the School of Athens, the Transfiguration, and Madonna. Madonna being Mary, the mother of Christ, not the singer. I'm going to pause here for you to finish this slide. Here we have an example of some of those pieces of art, and the big one that's to the left-hand side is the School of Athens. The one down at the bottom are some cherubs that are very famously drawn, and to the right-hand side is the Transfiguration of Jesus that you can find in St. Peter's Basilica. On this slide, we can see the two examples of the Madonna. As I said, he had drew many of these, but these are his two most well-known examples. We're going to stop here and start the second part of the video with the writers.